it this way or that way, or that experienced people wouldn't mix with the beginners. I disagree. I disagree. Been doing this a long time. And the way that I have found that is most effective is for people to help people. I mean, when I was a kid, new at life, my parents passed things down to me. They taught me the way. I mean, I was a kid, but I was mingling with the adults, right? Because the adults had to teach me the right way. And that's what we're here to do. The more experienced people helping the newer people. And hopefully, the newer people helping the experienced people. Let me tell you, the newer people help the experienced people just as much as the experienced people help new people, because the new person, they approach this like it's got the new car smell on it. You know what I mean? They're enjoying it. And it helps for the experienced person who's kind of got bored with it. I don't know how we get bored. It's the human nature. It's thinking, but it happens to so many experienced people. They convince themselves that they're bored or whatever, but then to see it through a new person's perspective and eyes, and they get excited again, especially if it's somebody they know who's getting started, and that pulls the experienced person right back in. We're a family. This is not a diet. The first three letters of the word diet spell die. Anything we start with and don't stick with forever is just a waste of our time. It's a lifestyle. And there's varying levels of knowledge here in this lifestyle. And we all glean from one another. So it's a good thing, Cleo. It's a good thing that you're experienced. What's up, everybody? If you had not taught me how, then I'd still be 330. And Lord have mercy, Cindy, you are not anymore. And have maintained too. I'm so proud for you and of you, to know you. Hey, everybody, don't forget to set that chat to all panelists and to all attendees. All right, before we get started, I want to harp at you for a minute. I like to try to harp at you. I want to say this too. Those of you that are experienced, I got several messages, emails, if you will, that said, Travis, will the rest of the phase 1 lessons, will they be stuff that I've already heard before? Because I had already heard all of lesson 1 before in the past. I'd already heard all that stuff, and it was a good review. But will lesson 2 be something new? No, it won't. If you're experienced, it better not be. You better have watched the daily doses, have taken the test, passed the test, and earned the badge. You better have done that, okay? And if you have, then not too much of this should be new stuff for you. A lot of this, most of this should be a good review for you. But if you think that you don't need to submit to that, you are sadly mistaken. Look, this is a fact, and I hope everybody will let this in. We'll let this in the brain. I hope you'll hear this. If you don't hear nothing else, I hope you hear this. I'll probably say that 10 times, but if you don't hear anything else, I hope you hear this. Your destiny, whether you're successful or not successful, whether you end up a happy person or an unhappy person, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to break it down for you right now. It's all going to be dependent on your thoughts. We all old enough to go, yeah, amen, amen. But when are we going to start applying that principle? That what we think about and what we speak is going to determine how we behave. And how we behave repeatedly is going to yield either success and happiness or the lack of success and unhappiness. Everything in your life right now that you're unhappy about, for the most part, is a direct result of how you've been thinking. So if we don't change how we've been thinking, We're not going to be successful. So let's think about it. Think about it. How many classes do you engage in, whether you heard all of it before or not? And by the way, if you want stuff you hadn't ever heard before, come to phase 2. Phase 2 should give you some new stuff you haven't heard. But I digress. You come and you engage with the class, whether you wanted to or not, but you leave a little bit more focused or a lot more focused on nutrition, on your weight loss goals. You've rehashed why it's important to eat right. Because see, when you don't have anything like that, and you get caught up in life without submitting to hearing whatever it is that you need to hear over and over again, especially as it relates to nutrition, life's got a way of overwhelming you, getting in the way, and before you know it, you've got momentum in the wrong direction. So tonight, if you've heard it all before, praise God for it. You heard it again, and you can get refocused on it again. The more you hear it, the better off you are. I mean, how many of you tell your spouse you love them all the time? You done told them, why you got to tell them again? Because it's important. You want them to know. You want them to focus on the fact that you love them. Whether they have a good day or bad day, you need to remember, I love you. You want that to go with them throughout the day so they make decisions based upon the love that you two share. Same thing with nutrition and with a lifestyle. You've got to always be focusing on what you're supposed to do, not on what you're not supposed to do, focusing on what you can have and not on what you can't have. And then the reasons why. We talk about these tools and we talk about these resources all of the time. We talk about vision boards. We talk about journals. We talk about all this stuff all the time. And we know it works. But how many of us are executing that we know to do? It's one thing to know what to do. It's another thing to do what you know. I'm gonna call y'all out right now. This ain't on social media or anything right now. Let me ask you, how many of you have a week's worth of the last week you journal? Every bite, every nibble, if you bit it, you wrote it down. I bite it, I write it, I hog it, I log it, I nibble it, I scribble it, I drink it, I ink it. How many of you got that journal? And if you say no, I'm not going to jump on you, but I want you, true confession's good for the soul. How many of you have it? Jerry Ann says, that's my downfall. Paula's got it. Marla don't have it. Janice has got it. Joyce doesn't. So we're running, not this week. I want to do better. So here I'm now. Nope. So about 2/3 of you, I'm just guessing, it's the 80-20 rule, Pareto's law. About 80% of you, I'm betting, don't have it. But yet here old Travis is. The boy next door who's lost weight and kept it off, is telling you it's the most important thing that you can do, especially on the days you don't want to do it. Record your weight, your measurements weekly, and if it goes in your mouth, it's got to go down in that journal, whether it's online, whether it's in the app, whether it's on a piece of paper. The app, you can even take a picture of your food now, and it sends it right to your journal. We have no excuse, but I'm telling you that it's the most important thing that you can do if you want to get the weight off and you want to keep the weight off. You cannot live without it. You cannot do this without it. You say, well, I know so-and-so did. They're an oddity. You're not special. If you've ever had a food addiction and you've ever found yourself overweight due to bad habits, you'll have to have a journal. It's either that or medications. It's either that or gastric bypass. Which one do you want? You got more than 10,000 minutes in a week. Journaling is important. Travis, I'm not being successful on the program. The first thing I'm going to ask you is, are you journaling? Are you keeping record of every bite that goes in your mouth? Because last week we determined that the two most important factors to the physiological part of weight loss. The physiological, not the emotional, mental, spiritual, but the physiological. Your body transforming. Your temple transforming. The two most important parts of that is number one, food combinations, because proper food combinations control insulin, which is a growth hormone. That's number one. Number two most important thing, number one is by far more important than number two. But then there's a number two. And number two is calorie control. And if you're not careful, you graze a little bit here, you graze a little bit there, you use the wrong salad dressing, you get what you had earlier. The next thing you know, you have 400 or 500 more calories than you realized. And then when you have a bad week and you say, I did everything I'm supposed to do and I gained weight, we ain't got that journal to look back and see, no, actually, you consumed 3,500 more calories than you thought you did. You've got to journal. Got to. I've been doing it for now 18 years. What's the matter with you? Are you just too good? Are you too good to apply the principles of the program that will cause you to have a better life? I mean, some of you will lose the weight without a journal, but you'll gain it back. You will. You will, doggone it. So follow and execute. Success is not just about putting knowledge in. It's about getting yourself to do what you know to do. Okay? Somebody said they got a terrible week there. We got to fix that. Hey, you know why you need to fix that? Because we ain't given but so many weeks in our life. I ain't trying to depress you now. Watch this here. We'll get to the PowerPoint. Y'all just chill. I got to get your mind right first because the world's done screwed your mind up again. Screws your mind up about every week. All right, so look. So how many weeks? You got 52 weeks in a year? So in the mortality table, say we're going to live to be 77. So you got 4,004 weeks on average, statistically speaking. Some will live longer, some will live shorter, only God knows. But the average person's got 4,004 weeks, and one of them just passed you by, and it was terrible. So how do we make this one better? We decide that it's going to be better. We delay our gratification. We go after our goals. We realize what the prize is and how beautiful. How do we know that it's worth it? How do we know that it's worth sacrificing instant gratification? How do we know that reaching our weight loss goal, how do we know that it is worth the sacrifice of giving up a donut? If that can even be called a sacrifice, that stuff's poison. How do we know it's going to be worth it? Talk to Cindy Walters. Ask her if it's worth it. Ask her if daily self-discipline's worth it. Ask her if skipping those donuts is worth it now that she's got her life back. Ask me. You think I'm going to lie to you? I'm telling you, every sacrifice I've made, and I can't even really call it a sacrifice. The program is just pure joy, joy, joy. Every sacrifice that one would say I've made, for me to go from 300 pounds, no prescriptions, and down to where I'm at today and to feel good, to have self-confidence, to have self-esteem, is so worth the sacrifice. Like the Apostle Paul said, when he found Jesus, he said, I count everything that I gave up. I count everything that I gave up as doo-doo compared to what I've gained. All that stuff that we've been eating that's been setting us back just for a little bit of mouth pleasure. That's all we get. That's all we get is a little mouth pleasure. That little bit of mouth pleasure is costing us life and life more abundantly, costing us self-respect, causing us self-discipline. Let's get on with it, right? Let's get on with it. All right. So we're going to apply the principles that we teach tonight. All right, last week, just a quick recap. We talked about your why, having goals, right? We talked about what your weight should be, what your happy weight should be. We talked about calories. We talked about the 4 macronutrients. We covered a lot. We talked about category 1 lean protein, category 2 fibrous carb, Category 4, protein plus fat. Category 6, superfoods. Category 7, shellfish. And we started filling in a few foods in those categories. We'll do more later. But tonight, we're going to recap your why. We're going to recap your happy weight, just so you understand it's important that we get this weight off. And then we're going to talk about category 3, energy carbs. Category 5, fruit. We're going to talk about condiments. We're going to talk about beverages. And then we're going to talk about pure evil and poison. Okay? So, and I see some of you talking about the struggle, and we all, I feel that way too. Can I coach you a little bit though? Can I coach you? Let me coach you. And I hope this helps, not picking on the person that said that at all, because I guarantee everybody here will go, yeah, the struggle's real. Let me tell you something. Whether it's a struggle or not, if that language is in your vocabulary, you probably will never be successful with this. You've got to, as it relates to doing what you need to do to be lean and healthy, you need to eliminate the word struggle from your vocabulary. Because let me tell you about your DNA and how you're hardwired. If something is a struggle, you're not going to do it very long. You have too many options. You have too many options. Some options that take you towards your goals, and other options that lead you away from your goals. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, but narrow is the path that leads to life. If it's a struggle with all the options you have, more days than not, you're going to choose not to engage in the struggle. You're not going to do it. You've got to find the pleasure in it. And if there's no pleasure in it, you have to find the pleasure it's going to yield and focus on that. Too often you focus on the principles and you don't focus on the prize. So even if you find planning a real struggle, think about what planning gives you so that you can find pleasure. You will not stick with anything very long that's a struggle. I used to exercise and I would quit very quick because I found it to be a struggle until I convinced myself that it's pure joy. You know what? There are times that headed to the gym, headed to get my jogging in, my cardio, whatever it is now, there's times that I don't want to go, but I go on and go because there's never been a time that I finished that I didn't have pure joy. So that's what I'm trying to tell you to do. Don't always focus on the beginning. When you start planning, I don't really want to spend time planning. I just want to eat it, whatever the heck I want to eat, when I want to eat it, as much as I want to eat it. But that's going to yield you pain. So the lack of planning is pain, not a pleasure. It's a pain. It's very pleasurable to plan and know that you're on your way to you go. You gotta rewire your brain, because in the great USA, we're so lazy. We're not going to do things that we feel are a struggle. This program is not a struggle. It's not a struggle. It's a pure pleasure. It was a pure pleasure. My wife spent the weekend with me here this weekend in Florida. And we decided that we was going to have some holidays, and we did. But today, I was happy to be back at it. I'm embracing the growl, right? So it was a pure pleasure this morning to have 2 eggs and hemp flakes. It was a pure pleasure for me to have a 96% lean ground turkey patty today with some broccoli. Pure pleasure. I mean, look, I'm getting to eat good food and stuff I like and still going to lose weight, lose body fat. But you got to look at things differently, or you're never going to fix this. If you're always telling yourself about all you're missing out on, you're really going to end up missing out on life. Right? Am I preaching to the choir now? It's more about understanding and putting everything together. I think I make it more complicated than it should be. We all do. We all do. It's not complicated. It's easy. Once you make a decision, it's like the great general of Carthage once said, Hannibal. The great general said at one point that once you have your reason, once you have your why, the how-tos will take care of themselves. In other words, we make it complicated because we don't have a real reason that excites us. The people that start and are excited about getting their life back, believe they can get their life back, why they don't have as difficult a time as somebody that's just got to do this. Many times we have somebody buy somebody a membership because they really want this for them, and they rarely take to the program because, they came here because they needed to, but they didn't want to. You got to want it, people. You got to want it. You got to want it. And if you don't want it, think about the alternatives. I better get started because they're going to be in here taking me out of his office in about 30 minutes. It's bad, Cleo says, it's bad to let someone else talk you out of doing something, but when you talk yourself out of it, it's even worse. Amen. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to get started here. I just preach and preach and preach, and I run out of time. Boy, time flies when you're having fun, don't it? Let me get to the right slide here. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Should be looking at the PowerPoint now. Phase 1, week 2, mindset. That's what we're going to cover. Mindset, happy weight, real quick. Category 3, complex carbs, energy carbs. Category 5, fruit and antioxidant carbs. We're going to talk about evil carbs. Condiments. Mindset. First of all, I want to ask you, the Bible says without a vision, the people perish. Now, there's always somebody that says, well, I can never look like that. Look, you pick out your vision pictures. You pick out, for you, it may be your pleasure picture is just being able to go to the beach and feeling comfortable in your own skin or looking good in your clothes. I want to look good naked. So I have half-naked people on my vision board. And it's important that I don't just do this. I don't just go through this exercise. It's very important I don't just go through it and leave it there. It's very important that I look at it, especially if I'm given to my appetite. I should look at my pleasure pictures before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner, and ask myself, what do I want? What do I really want? Do I want this chocolate-covered donut? Do I want this stuffed cut crust pizza, or do I want my goal? Been there, done that with food. Listen, food needs to become an afterthought for y'all. We need to quit living to eat and start eating to live. I mean, if you got the right mindset, it's more like, oh my Lord, I feel a little faint. I wonder why. Oh, it's been 12 hours since I ate. I'd rather you do that than think about food all day and say, I'm starving to death. We've got to change our mindset. You need to have goals that excite you. Look, if I reach the goal, see that dude there, if I have abs like that, I'm telling you, whether you think so or not, I'll be a happier person. I sure will, because that's going to change my life. It's going to change how I interact with people. It's going to change what the number of goals I'm willing to go for. It's going to change everything. Would it change anything for you if you were lean, fit, and healthy? Not just how you look, but how much different is your personality going to be? How much more are you going to attract into your life that's good when you feel good, look good? These things, if you've never experienced your goals, it's time you put them up there. They even had to do that in the Old Testament. They couldn't be trusted to stay focused on God's commandments. They had to put them right as frontlets over their eyes so that they could see them all day. You need to be focused on your goals all day until it's a fire shut up in your bones. And you don't need just pretty people pictures. You need the beach pictures. You need all the love that's going to be in your life. You need the strength that you're going to feel because you feel stronger, the energy levels. What will you feel like doing with those energy levels? How will your kids look at you differently? How will your grandkids look at you different? how will their life how's it gonna be changed because your legacy changed? Those things are more important than us stuffing our face all day long, eating between meals. Lord, our kids ain't listening to what we say. They're watching what we do. Monkey see, monkey do. Don't make them have to be the one to break a generational curse. You go on and break it now. Because people without a vision and that don't keep that vision in front of them and run after it like it's a prize all the time, they perish. Here's what happens to them. Let me tell you, if you ain't got your own goals, life and the devil has some goals for you. And it looks like this. So I'm going to ask some of you, it might hurt your feelings a little bit because you might say, well, I look more like these pictures than them pictures. I'm going to ask all of you right now, do you look more like these two people or do you look more like this? Oh, boy, that's stepping on toes, ain't it? Fellas, do you look more like this guy here or do you look more like this? Now, which is it going to be, people? Which is it going to be? Now, you tell me that a child of the living God, the Most High God, ought to look like that. Well, nowadays, Travis, that's not politically correct to say something negative. Those two people are probably beautiful on the inside. I disagree. Because I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but what I'm saying is these two people are broken. And they're broken because something on the inside was broken first. We got to fix it. We got to change the mindset. If you don't have goals, you're going to look more like these two individuals than the first two individuals. Because it's life, it's the world, and it's the devil. And the world and the devil is going to focus you on the food that's going to put you in that condition. Let's start worshiping the Most High God and stop worshiping food. Let's start eating to live again instead of living to eat. This is soft. This is lazy. And I'm not telling you all that you're soft and lazy. I'm saying it is what it is. I'm saying you're tough and you're strong. You're tougher and you're stronger than what you've shown the world so far. Can we fix it? Will you come go with me? Will you come go with me? I fixed it. You should fix it too. Height weight chart. Don't forget it. Very important. If you're joining us in lesson 2, you keep your eyes on the prize. Here's how the chart works. If I go down, I'm 6'3". I'm 6'3" and I'm 47. August the 31st, I'll be 47. So I should be somewhere between 168 and 216. I should be some. If you're a man, you need to kind of split the difference. I need to be from the middle up. So somewhere around 185 and 216. Women should be 168 to 185 if they were 6'3". If you're a 5'4" woman and you're 50 years old, you should be somewhere between, say, 122 and 145. If you're over that, fix it. Fix it. Get fired up. Get enthusiastic. Fix it. Make a decision and stick to the decision. Don't date a diet, marry a lifestyle. A little recap there. Now let's look at category 3 complex carbs and energy carbs. I have not listed them all. I listed the ones that I feel are the best for you to start venturing into when you need them. See, the food that you put in your body, since you're eating for fuel now, the food you put in your body should be based upon the situation. Carbohydrates are full of energy. And I'm going to give you the best ones, and then we'll fill in as we go through the weeks. We'll fill in more. But I'm going to give you the best ones, the ones that I feel, if you're craving them, will do the least damage to your weight loss goal. Because they're really healthy, complex carbohydrate. when you consume an energy carb, a complex carb, it's instant. It pretty much is instant energy. Your body can access the energy in the carb quicker than it can a protein, and most of the time even quicker than a fat. So you have to really watch and control the portion that you consume if your goal is weight loss. Because once we get over 20, 25 grams of carbohydrate in one meal, we can really struggle losing weight, because your body can really only use that much energy at one time, and the rest it's going to easily store if you're in a weight loss mode and you're semi-sedentary. And you also have to make sure that you combine the right foods with it, or you're going to, even the good ones, or you'll get too much of a blood sugar spike, therefore too much resultant insulin, and we won't be able to lose fat efficiently either. So it's very important to eat these in the right combination and in the right portion. Lima beans are terrific for you. Tomatoes, very healthy. Peas, now if they're peas like snow peas in the pod, those are a category 2 fibrous carb. No problem with those, because the pod is so dense with fiber. It's going to slow down any blood sugar rise, not worry about those. But like Crowder peas, English peas, peas out of the pod, they should go here too. Now these are the best energy carbs for weight loss. Onions, sweet potatoes. That's not to say a white potato is not approved, red potatoes, but I haven't put them here yet. I'm giving you the best ones because we're all assuming you're a new person, okay? Carrots are very good for you. Quinoa instead of rice. Oatmeal. These are good, complex energy carbs. Turnips are a good one. Ezekiel bread is a good one. Those of you that like Ezekiel bread, very, very good for you. These are category 3s, and these are the best of the category 3s. We'll talk about corn and white potatoes and grits later. They're all approved on the Shabola program too. But I want to give you the best of the best because we're only in week 2. But when you've got a goal of weight loss, you already should have learned that you can put a 1 and 2 with these, and they're okay. But during a weight loss goal, you need to measure. You need to be real careful with your measurements, because during the weight loss mode, it's only a quarter cup. Remember, when we go to half a cup cooked, and we're talking about cooked too, when we go to half a cup cooked, quarter cup good for weight loss, up to a half a cup begins to be maintenance. Anywhere in between a quarter cup and half a cup, still losing weight. You get to the half a cup, not going to lose very much weight. Got to really control these good energy carbs. These are wholesome, full of vitamins, full of minerals. These are good for you. But if you found yourself here with a weight problem, you got to really control your portion and your combination of the carbs. Should always control your combination, but really got to control the portion here. Now, when you get into maintenance, if you want to venture toward a half a cup, that's better. Tip, not mandatory, but this is a tip. If you unless you're working third shift and your sleep patterns are off, and in which case you would do the reverse of what I'm about to tell you. You should stop having these when possible after 4 p.m. If you just got to have a sweet potato for dinner, it's no problem in the right portion and combination. No problem. But you'll get better results if you cut off your consumption of complex carbs, energy carbs after 4. And the same thing's going to hold true for fruit. Let's look at fruit. Fruit they're great energy carbs too, but they're also great excuse me. They're also great antioxidants, meaning they help alleviate oxidative stress, cellular stress. We need to incorporate more fruits into our diet for wellness. And these are the fruits that I'm about to list. It's not all fruit goes in category 5. but these are the ones that will do the least harm to your weight loss goal, never in a maintenance goal. They're always good for you. But these will do the least harm for you when you're trying to lose weight. They'll slow you down the least. Oranges, berries, apples, grapefruit, cherries, surprisingly, cherries, plums, grapes, pears, those are good for you. Whoops, I lost. Let me go back to that slide. I hit it too quick. These are good, and you're talking about, it's hard to measure these in terms of a quarter cup, and you really don't have to so much because they're so full of water. But what we're talking about here is a handful of berries, heaping handful of berries. I like to use the hands because you know it's just practical. A medium orange. If an orange is a jumbo orange, then maybe you do half of it. Same thing for a grapefruit. Apples, a medium-sized apple. If it's not a medium size, do half of it. Cherries, a handful, palmful of cherries. Plums, a couple of plums will fit in one hand. That's good. Grapes, a cluster of grapes that'll fit in one hand. A medium pear. These are fruits that work even when you're trying to lose weight and are good for you. And when your energy levels are really dragging, boy, that's a good time for either or, not both together. Never an energy carb and a fruit together when you're trying to lose weight. Let's look at how that might look on a portion control plate. Let's say that I'm craving a sweet potato. So I've got a quarter cup. You say, that's not much. That's 12 teaspoons. A quarter cup is 12 teaspoons. 12 teaspoons of a sweet potato with a chicken breast and green beans is plenty. We act like it's the Last Supper every time we eat. If it was good, it'll still be good 4 to 6 hours later. And by the way, we don't graze, we're not cattle. Some of us are doing everything right except one thing. We can't stop our munching and grazing on, and it's just a few calories, but it's preventing you from losing the body fat when you graze. Quit grazing. That's a discipline issue. You've got, if you're going to be successful and be successful long term, you've got to be a discipline freak. Now here I've got grilled chicken, 4 to 6 ounces. I've got a half cup of green beans or whatever. I've got sweet potato. Let's say I put a little cinnamon. Cinnamon's a freebie on my sweet potato. I put a little 0-calorie butter spray on my sweet potato. I eat my meal. I stop. I got 4 to 6 ounces of chicken breast, a portion of green beans, and a quarter cup of sweet potato. That's an excellent, excellent meal. And I eat it and I stop. Self-discipline. What if I really am still hungry? Well, I don't believe you are. I believe it's a mental thing. If you're still hungry, it's because you're feeding 300-pound you instead of the two. I'm talking about me. I was 300. I can't feed the 300-pound me anymore. I got to feed the 200-pound me that I want to be. And I'm going to have to embrace the 300-pound man's going to growl. I got to embrace the growler. I'll never be a 200-pound man. Telling it like it is today. Sorry. So if I really am still hungry, let's have some more green beans. Those are freebies. If you just got to graze, we graze on freebies. Or we have a void replacement snack. But I'd rather you have 3 meals. Breakfast for the Father, lunch for the Son, dinner for the Holy Spirit. And you know what? You'll become whatever size you want to be. You eat for the size you want to be. You don't eat for the size you are. Elementary. Fruit. Let's look at fruit. I'm craving grapes. I'm doing this by my cravings. Sometimes you're just craving carbs, right? You're craving fruit. I'm craving the grapes now. But where this program helps me, and by the way, if you're diabetic, grapes is something you can do to get your blood sugar back up. If you're not diabetic, you need to have the grapes in the right combination. So look at what I'm doing here. I'm craving the grapes. So I've got my category 1 chicken breast on the plate, and I've got my green beans. And now here's another thing. A lot of times I'll get asked, I got satisfied, I got full before I got done with the whole plate. So can I eat what I didn't eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Can I eat it later since I didn't eat the full portion? Be careful with that, because let's say that I have my grapes left over. I didn't eat the grapes with the lean protein. I didn't eat the grapes with the fiber. This could be something that's caused some of you to reach a premature plateau. Those grapes were allowed at lunch. Let's say this is a lunch meal. Those grapes were allowed at lunch, and I was craving them. But let's say I ate my chicken breast and my green beans, and my lunch break was over or whatever, I'm just full. So I'm digesting the lean protein and the fiber. And let's say 3-4 hours later, I go back to my grapes that I was allowed earlier and didn't eat. That's a problem. You're spiking your blood sugar because you ate them by themselves, and you're getting the resultant insulin, and now you cannot efficiently burn fat. If you're going to half that plate up, you got to half it all. You've got to, during the weight loss phase, you've got to have that lean protein and that fiber with these things that elevate that blood sugar. See, that lean protein and fiber is going to slow that blood sugar elevation down. I know people that are working their dairy air off in the gym, and they're eating all the right foods, but they're not eating them in the right combination. They're having less calories than I would, but because they don't understand the role that insulin plays, they're screwing up. Got to listen to old Travis. Knows what he's talking about. All right. So that's fruit. What about condiments? Got to be careful with them rascals too. I'm going to give you good, better, and best rules, and I want you to pay attention, because when I occasionally check a journal, here's where I see problems. My throat's getting a little raw. Let me get me some water. Let's do this. Let me see if y'all got any questions real quick. Any questions before we get to the next few slides? All fruit, what about watermelon? If I miss somebody, it's not intentional. Ezekiel bread is one slice. Watermelon is fruit. All fruit go in category 5, but I'm giving you the best tonight. We're just in lesson 2. The ones that require less caution. You don't have to measure category 2. I use the hand rule. So that chicken breast and the green beans and the grapes have to fit under my hands, fingers closed together. Put that over the meal. Please watch your daily doses. Morton's light salt. Morton's light salt is a good salt. Any salt will work. Just make sure you hydrate yourself, drink your fluid, make sure you stay active, you sweat. Salt's good for you. It's not the villain that it's made out to be. However, if you're overdoing it with salt, that can cause a problem. Drive blood pressure up. Y'all know the deal. But if you're concerned with that, Morton's light salt is a good salt. Himalayan sea salts are great. Absolutely. You should never have fruit with a category 4. Here's what happens, Joyce. Here's what happens. I'm having steak. Now we're talking to people trying to lose weight. You're having steak and you're having broccoli. Let's keep it just normal stuff here. Steak, broccoli, boom. Steak fits under one hand, got a little broccoli on the plate, and now you want those grapes. Well, you're still going to get a release of insulin, just not too much. But insulin is also a fat storage hormone, and that steak's full of fat. So now a lot of fat is going to be readily available for the hormone insulin to pick it up and push it into your fat cells. So I want you to be efficient. So don't have fruit with a category 4. Yeah, you can write. Journaling's all about you. Whatever's best for you. All right, if I eat fruit by itself, now there's exceptions to that for diabetics, where it is going to slow down their fat loss results, but they're still going to get good results, and they need to they need to get their blood sugar up. We don't want them getting sick. But I'm talking to us people who we're not dealing with that issue. Okay, it's inefficient to eat fruit by itself if your goal is weight loss. It's inefficient. If I eat an apple, which is low glycemic, if I eat a banana, which is high glycemic, my blood sugar is going up. Okay, in other words, an apple blood sugar goes up. I ate the banana, it goes zzz. Now my pancreas has to release medicine. That's what insulin is. It's your pancreas is your body's pharmacy. And your pharmacy only has so much insulin. So, in other words, and I'm putting this in layman's terms, but your pancreas releases the dose of medicine equivalent to that the body needs to regulate your blood sugar. Now, if you was eating white rice, white bread, or white pasta, you get a huge dump of insulin, and that's why we end up unhealthy. But because we've wound up overweight and unhealthy, we can't have fruit by itself until we reach our goal. You won't efficiently burn fat if you're eating fruit by itself, and we want to efficiently get back to our goal, and then you can have fruit as a snack by itself, but not now, because fruit is going to slow your fat loss results down. Well, Cindy's asking, y'all can't see her question because it's just to the panelists, but zero yogurt with fruit. What is that? Oikos zero something for 000. 000 yogurt with fruit is not a good combination. Bad, unless you're using fruit as a condiment, which we're about to get into. Remember, what we're talking about with fruit is not a full portion of fruit. So if I'm just using fruit as a condiment, it falls under the condiment rule. But to eat a full portion of fruit with 000 yogurt, not good, unless you see it listed as a perfect pairing because we've looked at the nutrition. But since I don't know what fruit you're going to pair with it, I can't say all fruit will pair with 000. 000 is a 1, a fruit's a 5. You're supposed to have a 2 with a 1 and a 5, 1, 2, 5. Does that make sense? So if you picked out berries, I might say, yeah, go on and have them. It's not a big deal. But if you pick out a banana, it's a big deal. But you always have a category 1 by itself, 000, with fruit as a condiment. But that's just going to be 50 calories or less. So you got to be really careful. So do you eat fruit with a protein? Yes. You have to have fruit with a 1 and a 2 or a 7 and a 2. So it looks like this: chicken breast, green beans, and fruit. It looks like this: fish, broccoli, and fruit. Looks like this: double fiber turkey sandwich with an apple. That's a 1, 2, 5. Make sense? Hope so. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to go back to the good questions. I'm going to go back so we can get through some more material. Wait a minute. Yeah, what did y'all say here? Question. Can we have greens in powder form to put in water? You lost me there. I'm assuming you're talking about some sort of smoothie drink, but if you'll elaborate, I'll get to it. The combinations, not getting on to you now, in life, you have to learn things and to be successful. Let's get back to the greens question in a second. You have to learn things. It is no chore to learn it if you want to learn it. The problem is we don't want to learn it. If you went to the doctor and the doctor said, here are 7 categories, and here's the foods that go in these 7 categories. Here are the combinations that you can eat. You can eat in a category 1, a 1 and 2, a 1, 2 MCT, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 5, a 4, 2, a 7, a 7, 2, a 7, 2, 5. If the doctor said, you've got to learn those, and if you eat outside of any of those combinations because you've got this disease, you're going to explode. Yucky. From the inside out, your whole body's guts and everything, you're going to pop and explode and be dead. you'd learn those combinations and categories that night. I believe that. You may disagree, but I believe it. What we're lacking, we want to lose weight. Okay, I get that. But we haven't convinced ourselves that the way to lose weight is the categories and combinations. If we really believe that and believe they'd save our life, we learn it tonight. We're all smart people. We learn what we want to learn. We sure do. Greens, greens in powder form, I would make sure it's an approved product. Some of those products by themselves, like I use AdvoCare, Advo Greens, is a freebie. I just need to see your product because some of them taste so nasty, they put a lot of sugar in them, and the sugar might cause you a problem. And when they take it and turn it into a powder, it's not like eating broccoli anymore. It's now pre-digested. I love it. Think it's good for you. But the only ones I know off the top of my head that work, Greens First and Advo Greens. But if you let me know or ask the group, we can look and see if it's a freebie, if it's a snack, or if it doesn't apply. Can I eat cucumbers with 1 cup of mixed berries and 2 tablespoons of Oikos yogurt instead of hemp hearts? Well, it's not going to be as good for you, but let's look at what you just said. Cucumbers, how many? I'd need to know that. With a cup of mixed berries and 2 tablespoons of Oikos yogurt. Let me think that through. You could do that. You could do that if you wanted to. It's not, you're getting the fiber. I see what you're doing. You're getting the protein, you're getting the fiber. The hemp flakes or hemp hearts would be better, but the cucumbers will work if you wanted to do that. The combinations. Let me show y'all the basic combinations. They're everywhere on the website. So let me just show you. Let me just show you real quick. All right, let me get share my screen. Okay. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. We look at this little counter. I love that counter. You guys have lost 2,600,000 pounds. That's incredible. So I'm going to go to my journal. The combinations are everywhere. I'm going to go to the journal. And then I'm going to come in here. See this tab? This tab says, this is a dummy account. This says perfect food combinations. There's your basic ones. That's not all of them, but it's a good start. And to the person, I don't remember who it was, that's struggling with the combinations, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Start with these. Learn these 4 first. You're learning a new lifestyle. Learn these 4 first, okay? And this same chart is all in your food library. It's everywhere in your food library. So we reinforce it over and over and over. And this is just half of the different combinations. But start with the ones in orange. Fastest weight loss. Learn those first. You can learn those. Not too hard to do. Any other questions? Hemp hearts are better than cucumbers in that scenario that person, see, it's situational. Do y'all see? It's situational. Business cards. That's a Sasha question, Karen, and I don't think she's here right now. You'd have to ask Sasha about that. She has access to those. I'm not sure I know how where that's at. Hemp, it's not better, it's situational. It depends on what your goals are and what you like. See, hemp flakes may be better for me than hemp hearts, but if I like hemp hearts better do that. But hemp hearts is a category 6. Hemp flakes is a category 1+2. What's better for overall health? Category 6 superfood. What's better for weight loss? Category 1+2. Therefore, in weight loss mode, the hemp flakes are better than hemp hearts. if that's your primary motivator and goal. If my primary motivator and goal is wellness, hemp hearts. Both are good, both work, but one will move you a little faster than the other. If I'm constipated, the best one's hemp hearts, but you still got to use it according to its category. Does that make sense? What's the best thing to pair with the hemp hearts? The category 1. Yeah, Sasha would know about that, about the card. And if you tell me what to say again, I'll try to say it again. Peanut butter, double fiber wheat bread, and a banana. No, that won't work. Unless you're using, there are what we're getting way ahead of the lesson. There's also what we call perfect pairings. You could take double fiber wheat bread and a high protein peanut butter called Nuts and More with a half a banana, and that would work. There's recipes on the website. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going any deeper. We're getting past lesson 2. Yep. Take off the banana till you learn what peanut butter to use or what bread to use. The new Proti bread, you could have it with a half a banana and peanut butter. There's perfect pairings, things that work outside of combinations. Yeah, we won't get into hemp flakes and hemp hearts, I don't think, anymore tonight. Just note that there's lots of wow challenge meal plans in the challenge meal plan section that teach you how to eat hemp hearts and hemp flakes. Hemp flakes, oh, okay, May. Hemp flakes is a category 1+2. Hemp hearts is a category 6. And I tell you what we'll do, the next phase 2 lesson this week, Wednesday, let's do this because we're running out of time. They are already here in there. I got to try to get through more material. Hemp, this Wednesday, we're doing milk, phase 2 milk. Next Wednesday, we'll do hemp hearts and hemp flakes. Is that a deal? Let's do that. Let me try to get to a little more information. I want to get through a little more before they knock on my door out there. All right. So let's do get our PowerPoint back up. Condiments. I think I'm gonna have to stop right here. Okay, I hear them out there. I still had several slides left, and I hope y'all feel like you got something out of tonight, even though we didn't get through it all. Condiments. You can always add a condiment to a perfectly combined meal, perfectly combined and portioned meal. A good way to go is 50 calories or less of anything. I don't care what it is. If you're sure, better be sure that it's 50 calories or less, you can put anything, but just one. It's got to be a total of 50. You can't put 3 different things on there at 50 calories. That'd be 150. All condiment calories got to total up 50. A better rule is to switch your mindset to having 5-2 and few condiments. That means you pick condiments out at the grocery store that are 5 grams of sugar or less and 2 grams of fat or less, and you just use a little bit. The best way to go is 0-calorie condiments. Lemon juice, lime juice, spices, seasonings like Old Bay, salt, pepper, Walden Farms calorie-free condiments. That's the best way to go. In your beverages, don't confuse. This happens a lot. Please listen, because we're at the end. I know y'all getting tired of me. Listen. When we're talking about condiments, we're talking about putting it on food. Food that the body has to digest. We're not talking about adding condiments to our beverages. Beverages are pre-digested. In other words, coffee. People want to put up to 50 calories of condiments in their coffee. That's a boo-boo. In phase 1, that's a big boo-boo. because that coffee ain't got nothing in it to slow down a blood sugar rise if you put some sugar in there or the wrong creamer in there. That's why we don't go by the condiment rule, and you have to use like 15-calorie creamers. There's rhyme. There's a method to our madness. So we're not talking about beverages when we talk about condiments. We're talking about food. Check out what happens if you don't take me serious. Let's say that you use the 50-calorie condiment rule on 3 meals each day. I'd rather you do the 0. Because even following our rule, 50 calories on breakfast, lunch, and dinner is 150 calories per day, which equals 54,750 calories a year, which equals 16 pounds of excess fat. You can eliminate condiment calories and drop 16 pounds like that. They add up, folks. They add up. So be careful with your calorie-containing condiments. We're going to have to stop there, y'all, because I have to schedule the room, and I'm out of time. So sorry. Did y'all get anything out of this? And we had more to go. I apologize. We'll pick up where we left off week 3. Next week is a Labor Day, right? Next week's Labor Day. So we're not going to do this Monday. We're not going to do this Monday. We're going to do lesson 3 on Tuesday. Is that okay, everybody? We'll do Tuesday. I'll reschedule it. You shouldn't, if I schedule it right, you shouldn't have to re-register, but you should get a link for Tuesday at 6 p.m. Is everybody happy? Yeah, we will record it for you. You just won't be able to interact with the chat, but we will record it for you. We did record this one. It will process, and it will be put on the website for you tomorrow. I hope y'all feel loved. I hope you know we love you, and that we're for you. We're not against you. Watch your day. Those of you that are still confused, watch those daily doses over and over and over. I know the first 3 or 4, I'm being silly on there, but you really get to the meat and heart of it if you'll just persevere. Please get to that 4th, 5th, 6th video and watch the daily doses. The people that watch the daily doses, take the test, pass test, earn the badge, lose more than 2 times the weight of those who engage with the website yet never earn the badge. Thank you, guys. God bless you all. Stay focused this week. Yes, the grocery list will be updated, not the meal idea list yet, but the grocery list will be updated with category 3s and category 5s and condiments. Weigh Day Wednesday, that's right. We're going to have Weigh Day Wednesday. There's so many meal ideas on there right now, and y'all are just in week 2. I'm going to leave it there, okay? We're not going to expand much on the meal idea list because I want you losing weight these first 4 weeks. I'll add a few things as we progress, but there's so much there right now. I just think there's plenty on there for a new person. Some of y'all just 7 days into it. Yep, just journal the weight. That's right. Keep it simple. Amen. There's going to be, if you're getting bored already, please listen to the experienced people. You don't even have to trust me. Listen to the experienced people. There's so much variety, you'll never get through it all. But I want to get you momentum. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Thank y'all for attending. I love you in the Lord. Pray for us when you pray. Pray for all those in Texas and Houston and all those places that, our fellow brothers and sisters over there suffering.